What is going on, guys? This is the Inside the Loop podcast, episode number 48, and today we're doing a dual podcast. We're doing the Giants and the Rangers today. We're going to break down the Rangers first, and then we're going to break down the Giants preview against the Buffalo Bills. First time doing this on the channel. Of course, we've done 47 other uploads of just doing a singular sport. I figured, why not change up things a bit? Let's break down both. They're both, the Giants, of course, have been, a few weeks into their season. Rangers just got their season started. The Rangers trying to, make another good push this year for the playoffs and hopefully maybe try and get to that Stanley Cup. For the Giants right now, they've been struggling. They have not gone, things have not gone their way, and they haven't been able to fix them. And it's been a really, bad season for Giants, for the Giants and, us fans because, we expected this team to make the playoffs, or just at least be competitive, and they haven't been very competitive. They've been getting their, they've been, getting to, just their ass whooped. But, let's break down the New York Rangers first, breaking down, their 5-1 win over the Buffalo Sabres. Huge win for the Rangers to get their season started. Igor Shesterkin was in goal for that one. And the first win as a New York Rangers head coach under the new Peter Laviolette era. I thought they played really well. This is a Sabres team that's upcoming. They got a lot of stars on their team and a few superstars, including Rasmus Dahlin and, Tage Thompson. I think those two guys are really going to become, their top two studs on that squad. And, I think even Dylan Cousins could maybe be that guy as well. But this is a Buffalo team that should not be taken lightly. I think this Buffalo team has a very good chance of making the playoffs. I think Devin Levi is a good goaltender, even though he allowed 4 goals against the New York Rangers. And previously, he was 2-0 against the Rangers. He won, his debut against us, and a game after that. But this Rangers team was different, right? This Rangers team is a lot different than some of the other teams we've had, right? They're blocking a lot of shots, and that really can, be a momentum swing. If you're, in your zone for a while and you're blocking shots, it makes Shesterkin's night a lot easier. And you're taking taking the body, from those tough shots from Rasmus Dahlin or, Tage Thompson or, Dylan Cousins, Zach Benson, their new draft pick that, made his debut. But this Buffalo team, I don't think they gave us their best, but I also think the Rangers played a very good game, and that's why you weren't able to see Buffalo's, best. They were, the Rangers penalty kill was good. I think, Buffalo's power play is pretty darn good as well, but, they just kept blocking shots. And, another thing is the Rangers were winning faceoffs. That is a huge, huge thing for the Rangers this year is the faceoff circle. They have struggled mightily. They've been, it's been one of the main things that the Rangers have struggled. They've tried so many years over and over and over again. How can we fix faceoffs? How can, Mika Zibanejad get better at faceoffs? How can Philip Hedl, get better at faceoffs? How can even, Vinny Trocheck or, any of those guys. But, Vinny Trocheck, career-wise, he's been very good at faceoffs. They brought him in, a season ago. They bring in guys like Nick Bonino and Tyler Pitlick and other guys. But, how about, how about the Rangers really dominating that part of the game? And that is just such an underrated part of the game is the faceoff circle. Because the Rangers have been on the back, on the losing end a lot in the faceoff circle, and now they finally get to experience what it's like to win faceoffs consistently. Um, you know, Shesterkin 25 saves, 26 shots. That's good. That's really good. Of course, 960 save percentage for that as well. And he also notched his 100th career win of his NHL career. So congrats, Shesty, to that. I think a lot of the new guys that, were brought in made a pretty good impact. I thought Gustafsson was fine, even though he took that one penalty. Will Cooley laid the body, a bit. He's just a strong forward, power forward type guy. He's not going to really score much, in my opinion, but he could really just make, cause havoc. In the offensive zone, create turnovers, and I think the Rangers did a pretty good job of that. Making Buffalo have to make tough decisions quickly, and the big thing is the neutral zone and creating turnovers, and that's what led to Lafreniere's goal. It was turnover in the neutral zone. It was a bread shot, and bread somehow, some way, Artemi Panarin found Alexei Lafreniere crash into the net. But I thought that whole line together with Hedel, Lafreniere, and Panarin played very well. I thought they were a good line. I thought the top line, I thought all the lines were pretty good. And that's the thing. If all four lines are rolling and they play this confident, they can beat some of these tougher teams. I know Buffalo's a pretty good team, but I'm talking like tougher teams like Tampa Bay or Toronto or Boston, or I know Boston, lost, Patrice Bergeron, but they're still, a solid team in my book. I think, Carolina. I think Carolina could be one of the best teams, if not the best team in the league. Carolina is just so good up and down, but we're not talking about Carolina. We're talking about the New York Rangers. Blake Wheeler, not too worried about him. He didn't put up any points. He's not, first game. I mean, I'm not trying to overreact over the first game like, oh, we're so back. This team is so back. It's one game. They got 81 to go. And, it's of course, fans are excited. I'm excited. Hockey's back, okay? I'm very proud of this win regardless. But, there's a lot to be said. Anything could happen in these next 81 games. The division's up for grabs. Everything's up for grabs right now. And there's a lot of time. So I mean, if your team's struggling to start the season, don't panic too much. There's a lot of hockey to be played. But also with that Hedel line, they put up 4 points. Very good game. And how about Lafreniere? Lafreniere was one of the big stories coming into this season. What type of Alexei Lafreniere are we gonna get? Are we gonna get the guy that's inconsistent and puts up 2 point, 1 to 2 points in the last 15? Are we gonna get a guy that's really gonna make an impact? And he scores on I know it was just tap and goal, but those are goals. They all count the same, and that's a really good start for Alexei Lafreniere to get the first goal for the New York Rangers. And I mean, if he could put, if him, Kako and Hedel, those guys can produce specifically, it really takes the weight off Chris Kreider's shoulders, or Mika Zibanejad, or even Artemi Panarin. It takes those young guys can really click. It's huge for the New York Rangers. Talk about the face-offs. Rangers, of course, played tonight against the Columbus Blue Jackets. Artemi Panarin returns to his old house. He used to play for the Columbus Blue Jackets before he signed that mega deal with the New York Rangers. Of course, I'm feeling a good night out of Brad. I feel like every time they play, Columbus, Panarin usually has a pretty good game. Shesterkin does get the start tonight. If anybody was wondering if Jonathan Quick was going to get the start, he's not. But regardless, Igor Shesterkin has a very nice track record against the Columbus Blue Jackets. He's 4-1 with a .952 save percentage, along with a 1.44 goals against average. Those are some really good numbers against the Columbus Blue Jackets. But still, ride the hot goalie right now. I don't know when we're going to see Jonathan Quick, but I could see, Shesterkin starting, the first 3 or 4 games before we see Jonathan Quick. I could see Shesterkin honestly starting 65 plus. I'm gonna be totally honest. I mean, I could see him starting, at least 60, 65. I think pushing it to 70 is too much. I think 65 is the most I go with him, and even that's a lot for him because then he's gonna have to play all the games of the playoffs. But I think he can. I think Panarin can have a good game. I think Blake Wheeler can have a good game as well. I know he didn't play, to what people liked in that first game against Buffalo. He looked a little slow and this and that. He's got 21 points in the last 21 games against the Columbus Blue Jackets. Adam Fox, of course, I believe he has 11 assists in the last 10 games against Columbus, but it's a metropolitan matchup. Columbus, young upcoming team, a lot of young studs: Adam Benatelli, Ken Johnson, um, Johnny Gaudreau. He's not very young, but he's very good. Patrick Laine, bunch of young studs. Cole Sillinger. Good squad. Goaltending is definitely iffy, and I think the Rangers can take advantage of that. They obviously have the better goaltender in this matchup, so definitely take advantage of the goalie matchup. But regardless, that's all I gotta say for the New York Rangers. Now we head into the New York Giants. Alright, so we get into the Giants game. Of course, they're on primetime, Sunday night, 8:20 start, I believe it is. And they're taking on the Bills. Bills just lost to the Jaguars in London. Daniel Jones is not playing. He's got a neck injury because he got destroyed in that game against Miami. And, Tyrod Taylor, we haven't seen much of him besides the preseason. He gets to start, and I'm looking forward to seeing Tyrod play. I know it's been tough to watch as a Giants fan. I know they haven't been the greatest this year, and I know they made the playoffs, and everyone's getting on Dable, and everyone's getting on Shane. I understand that. That's just fans being frustrated. I totally understand it. I mean, I'm frustrated too because I didn't see this coming. I didn't know they were gonna take this far back of a step. I thought this was gonna be a nice step in the right direction, but now you look at it and now you consider letting some pieces go like Leonard Williams, Joey Jackson, and also Von Miller. Played in London. Now he gets to play against the Giants. He's probably going against Evan Neal, and we know how bad Evan Neal has been this year. But Evan Neal, he's got to really show up. He's got to find a way to really step up. Because if not, the fans are just going to keep getting on him, and he's probably going to be out of a job very soon. I mean, he needs to just step up and play a good game at right tackle. I mean, I don't know when they're going to move him to guard, but hopefully soon. They can even wait until next year for that. But yeah. So I mean, Saquon also wasn't ruled out by Dable yet. I haven't gotten a tweet about it unless my Twitter is destroyed, and I don't know. You know, or anything of that. But I haven't heard anything about Saquon being out, so I mean that's good news. I'm checking Twitter right now. I don't see anything about Saquon Barkley yet, but he could be traded at the deadline. That is something that is definitely interesting. I know people might think he go to the Ravens or just a team that needs a really solid running back. And, parting ways with Saquon, I don't think is the worst idea. I mean, yeah, he has not been on the field at all times, and I think just for the Giants' sake, you need you definitely could you know consider trading him for picks, you know, because the running back position is not hard to fix. I mean, we see it in the league. These other, running backs coming in and shining. I think the Giants could do the same thing, just drafting a running back. But also Darren Waller, groin injury, but he said he fully expects to play against the Bills. He's officially listed as questionable, and it looks like there's a lot of uncertainty about Saquon Barkley's ankle injury. ESPN's Bart Scott thinks that the Ravens should trade a second-round pick for Giants running back Saquon Barkley, and saying it would be the equivalent to when the 49ers traded for McCaffrey. I honestly could see it, I could very well see the Giants trading him. I mean, I love Saquon. I have his jersey. I have a plaque of him. I have all that stuff for Saquon. Now you look back at the pick, with Dave Gettleman era, he picks a running back at 2 when there were a bunch of linemen like Quentin Nelson, even Nick Chubb was in the second round. I mean, It is what it is. That Dave Gettleman ship has sailed, and I'm very happy for it. I'm excited for Joe Shane. I mean, he's got a lot on his plate that he needs to fix, just because of what Dave Gettleman really gave him. I mean, he didn't give him much. Joe Shane in his first year gives us a playoff appearance. Giants didn't have much of that in Dave Gettleman era, but yeah, I mean, this is going to be a tough game. I mean, if the Giants do fall to 1-5, it's just uh, another loss and another chance at trying to land that number one pick. But I don't know if I really see the Giants getting the number one pick. I mean, if they do, I think it's pretty obvious who they're going to take. Caleb Williams out of USC. But this is just a Giants team that is bad. The offense is really bad. And it's tough to watch. I hate that we're on prime time. I wish we just got like a 1 o'clock game against these guys, but I just. But yeah, I mean, a lot of speculation with Saquon. We don't know if he's gonna play or not. But anyways, it's been the Inside the Boot podcast, episode 48. Hit that subscribe button. Close to 70 subscribers. Appreciate all you guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.